TOA community, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. What's up, everybody? Robert Linkle, trainingtheolderadult.com, coming to you live from the bunker. A relieved Robert and a relieved Mrs. Linkle inside right now. Happy that our Hawaii trip is over, our personal trainer conference is over, our in-house workshop is over. We loved doing all of these things, but it was so much all in 1, 2, 3 little weeks, 1 month really of all this. We have one more big thing coming up, one more surgery in the family here. Sending good vibes to Mrs. Linkle for surgery coming up here shortly. And then once that's over with, we're kind of good to go. So happy Nevada Day, happy Halloween, happy Monday to everybody as we start off this awesome week. We are going to talk about grip strength and some newer, this is January of this year, but some newer information that's kind of out there. And this is something that we have discussed in the past a lot, but not necessarily in this direction, okay? So let's take a look at this. This is by Elizabeth Millard. Looking at kind of the key takeaways, recent studies suggest that greater grip strength could be a marker for health, aging, and more mobility. Now, right away, this is a little bit different than most, I would say, of the research we've seen in the past because it's looking at a positive outcome, not necessarily as the negative outcome, which you'll see as some of the other research. The connection to healthy aging is because grip strength is related to a higher degree of muscle mass and function, meaning that if you are able to produce a greater squeeze with your grip strength, more than likely, most people are going to be carrying more muscular mass to their body, which means they're being more active and they're probably less obese and more muscular than they would be if they weren't being active, right? So we are kind of lumping in an assumption, but you also have to look at the individuals out there that go, oh, grip strength increases mean I'll live longer. They literally just sit on the couch and work with these guys and go, I'm going to make my grip strength stronger so I can score high on this test. And now I'm in the top 10% and, I'll live forever. Not exactly. Okay. Previous research has noted a low grip strength could be an early sign of fall risk, frailty, and shorter life duration aging. That's where majority of the research that I've seen is that grip strength is a indicator, or poor grip strength is an indicator for poor health issues. I know you're like, well, Rob, the opposite would just be, you don't know that until somebody goes and does the research. So that's where this has come in, and it's very cool. This was published in the Journal of American Geriatric Society. A study took a look at just over 5,000 women who were part of a long life study with the average age of 78. Their health markers were assessed over a 5-year period and included weight loss and weight gain, and then grip strength, balance, and their gait speed. What this shows us is that the focus for older women shouldn't be on weight loss as a way to extend their lives, but instead improving their mobility and improving their muscular strength. So we are now encouraging women to be more mobile, be more active, build more muscle mass as you age. Don't worry about your belt line, your pant size, what body fat you are, not necessarily, okay? But it's nice to have somebody come on and say, lift some weights, try to get stronger, try to get bigger. Muscle mass is good. It'll keep you alive longer. We've been waiting for this. We've been wanting people to do this for a very long time. So this goes on a little bit more, kind of talks about some of the other things. Higher physical function and higher grip strength were associated with a lower mortality and a lower risk of cardiovascular events independent of weight change. So that was very good, very encouraging. There's a quote in here by my good friend, Rocky Snyder. I think it might be a little bit more towards the end. Men with a grip strength of fewer than 32 kilograms were 88% more likely to have mobility issues. Women with fewer than 21 kilograms were 89% more likely regardless of other lifestyle behaviors or medical conditions. 32 kilograms is 68 to 70 pounds, somewhere right around in there, 2.2 pounds for every kilo. So if it were just 2, it would be 64 pounds. So it's probably like 70 pounds of pressure, okay? To give you an idea, I can squeeze like one 125 on my left hand and 130, 135 on my right hand, I think. Is that right? And then John, I know, be watching here. John is the ultimate grip strengther. This son of a bitch can squeeze like 190 in each hand. He can crush apples in small children. Let's see, I was 127 in my right, 125 in my left. John was like 150 and 142 or something crazy like that. And how do we measure that? With this guy right here, okay? This is a, who makes this? Electronic hand dynamometer. I don't know, GripX. GripX made this one. I really like this one. I think it's solid. I got it off of Amazon, as where most of us get most of our stuff from. They're plastic in their design. There's also really nice ones that are made of metal that cost hundreds of dollars. Either way, and then they have, you know, computer sets that will store your client's info. So if you're client number 32, you'll just hit in 32 and it'll say your last score was, I don't know if it does a voice, but your last score was, you know, 70 kilos. And then you squeeze, 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 and it tells you right there, okay, there's 88 pounds, so I'll hit start again, it'll reset it, and then I'll squeeze, 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 and that gives me 118, and then I'll start again, and I'll squeeze, and I got a new record, 127. Suck it, John. Just kidding. Let's do the left hand. Apparently, the seated grip strength test is where I thrive at 120. Normally, you do this standing and not at this weird angle that I'm on, 127.6. That's a new record on my left. I haven't done my score in a little while, and I should lay off the coffee. Maybe I should switch to decaf, a little fired up. I'm excited to be done with some of these events. As much as I love doing them, it is very stressful to run all this stuff and to do all this stuff. And we don't think about all the things that you have to do before the event occurs to make sure it goes over well. Like designing Apex, what I do on a daily basis is like a little bit, I program and I build it and I program and I build it. And then I look at that whole thing and I'm like, hey, this whole system really worked well. Well, now go build an 80 slide PowerPoint that teaches how to do that, right? Like I built the whole thing and put it together and I'm like, I know it works. I've been doing it now for 2.5 years. It's a really good program. Well, now I have to build a whole tool that teaches how I did that, right? So that's a lot of work. That was, I don't know, 30 hours of time put in to build that PowerPoint and create the templates and go through all that. You know what I mean? So what I'm talking about is just like all of that kind of stuff. Going on vacation for a week, I had to program and build everything like 2 weeks ahead of time to cover everybody, all of our affiliates, Fit Body Forevers, like all the people we work with to cover all that stuff. So it's just like we're finally getting to a point. The finish line is right here. The end of this week, we're going to be able to take a big breath. All right, let's get back to it. So now that I've set a new record on my grip strength, I'm happy that I was almost to 130. I wonder if I stand up and do it proper. Let's do it. Let's do it live. We've already done it here. You're going to see my new Hawaiian shorts. Everybody like them? Pretty cool, huh? Pretty snazzy. All right. So we hit our start button. And the way that you officially do this, the way you're supposed to do it is you hold it out in front and then you give a 3, 2, 1 squeeze down at your side. And I hit 137. I've been working on this, huh? I've been working on this. Let's do one more. One more. Ready? Squeeze. Usually when you try harder, you're less. Yep. 135. I got to write that down. Remember. All right, left hand. Here we go. Ready? 133.8. And I'm catching up to you, John. 137.6. Yeah. All right, 137. What was it? What did we say? I forgot it now. Now, I know you're going to want to retest next time you're in here. Yes, yes, yes. We can do it. All right, I'm going to just say 11.1, make it easy. And I did right hand was 138.6 and left hand was 137.6, something like that. I'll go back and check tape. But I'm actually really happy with that. That's like a 10-pound improvement in, let's see, July. 5 months. It's awesome. Okay, let's continue. Now we just threw in our strength test in the middle of this. We'll keep rolling. Continuing on. Let's see what else. Although boosting strength overall can lead to improvements in grip, there's a benefit to focusing on grip strength specifically. This is Rocky Snyder. This is our guy. Rocky just presented at the NSCA Personal Trainers Conference with me. He's fantastic, by the way. Strength and conditioning coach and author of Return to Center. I have seen Rocky's book and flipped through it. I have not. No, I don't think I flipped through it. I've seen Rocky's book. I've seen it somewhere. Anyhow, I'm going to get a copy of this. It's excellent. I've seen Rocky present, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. He spoke at multiple of our conferences. Rocky's great. So if you get a chance to see some of his content. All right, he talks about squeezing and gripping tennis balls, pinching plates. I like that. Farmer carries, of course, your carries are going to be some of the best. Dead hangs. Woo, we're going to talk about that. Dr. Peter Attia talks about dead hanging. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay, so number 1. The squeeze, okay? Tennis ball, racket ball, lacrosse balls, the Captain and Crush, these grippers, etc. Does that affect your grip strength? 100%. Yes, it will improve it. Is it what we all want to do all the time to get our grip strength better? I don't think so, okay? And here's why. I had a gentleman explain to me once when he was talking about building sound structural facilities. We were out in the field, okay, and we were building facilities that could assemble up and tear down very quickly, okay? What he was utilizing were buttresses, and a buttress is with a vertical piece of plywood, which was a wall for this facility. A buttress was a framed 45-degree cut 2x4 that leaned up against the board, the plywood, and then wedged into the ground. And so it created a structural support that aided in holding the wall upright, but if you pushed against the wall, it wouldn't go anywhere either. And so he would put like a 12-foot wall up and then have 6 buttresses on the one side, and you could get behind there and just push and slam and throw your body into it and try to knock this thing over. And then he'd go, as structurally sound as that is, right? Let's go to the other side, and what? One finger, you could knock the whole wall over because there was no support on the other side. You see where I'm going with this? We grip and squeeze and focus on our grip squeezing strength so much. What about the other side of this? For every agonist, there is an antagonist. For every opposite side of a pulley, there needs to be enough strength to maintain the tension to help support that movement pattern. You can only over grip and over flex something so much before it becomes detrimental if the other side isn't stronger. So that's where little exercises like these come in, where you get some rubber bands, and there's very good research to support this, okay? These are from Iron Mind. Iron Mind Gym, they make this little baggy set. I believe it's like $15 or $20, something like that. And it comes with 2 bands of every color. And you put the bands on just above the cuticles on the fingers, and you work on extending your hands and working on your extension strength on the backside of your hand all the way down into your forearm. So this helps a lot with medial and lateral epicondylitis, tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, any kind of carpal tunnel. 3 surgeries I've had on this wrist. You can see my scars there, right? These guys were massively important and beneficial in my recovery and the rehabilitation of my hand and grip strength, to a point just tested right now, better than I've ever had. I've never broken 130. So I just did 137 and 136 or whatever it was, and set 2 new records right here live on screen with you without really even knowing it. We've just been working on this. I do these a couple of times a week along with all the other lifting that we do, increasing our grip strength just kind of naturally, okay? So yes, crushing is great. It's awesome to have one of these sets where you've got the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you got all the numbers, and you get to the ones where you're like, you can just barely almost grip it, and then the next one down, you can touch them, right? And then you've got your easier ones that you can, you can close all the way up and do reps with, etc. Nice to have that, good pieces, but you can't forget about the other side, right? What we call anti-arthritic, because over flexing the hand, over flexing the forearm creates so much strength, action, motion, movement, everything going in this direction, right? But we don't do a whole lot of extension of the wrist and extension of the hand when we need that musculature to do something and help us. Golf, tennis, fencing, whatever else, right? You might be doing where you're working extension. Where a lot of our clients will see it is they're picking up the frying pan, right, from cooking, or reaching and grabbing at TV remotes, anything that's got a little bit of weight, but they're exposed with the pronated grip reaching out, and they'll get these strains in the arm. And that's because you're lacking this weakness, lacking this strength. It's a weakness now on the opposite side of the pulley. So extension strength is key, okay? Grips are another big component to this as well. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just highlighting a piece of equipment or a variation of a piece of equipment that can be more beneficial to just a regular, okay? So this is what you would find in a regular gym, any kind of cable pulley or selectorized machine. And then this is a angle 90 grip. Not only the difference in color, which you can get angle 90s in black now, which look very cool, but notice the curve, notice the change in density and with girth on the inside versus the outside. These are ergonomically made to fill up your grip in the center, but be a little more narrow at the ends for your fingers as you wrap around. So those with arthritic issues in the hand, a lot of times if you hold a grip like this that's too small, it's hard for arthritic hands and fingers to wrap around something so tiny. They won't be able to close. But if it's super, super thick and they can't get their hand all the way around it, right? Their hand's exposed and open, well, then it hurts because they're trying to get some grip, but they can't. So where is a happy medium and what is ideal? Something that's a little thicker in the middle of their hand, but then closes at the end for the index and the pinky finger to be able to kind of wrap around. And that's exactly what this grip does. And I think they did it by accident, like not by accident, but not thinking about the arthritic response and the comfort necessarily on performance, which brings you to something like a hiking stick, okay? Notice the curvature of the hiking stick and how similar it is to this guy, okay? Let me move this out of the way here so you can see what I'm talking about, right? Notice that the curvature in here, right? How similar those are, how they got the little curvy end, right? The whole idea is to try to get it to form fit into your grip, form fit in with the finger, trigger finger at the top, your pinkies can relax, your thumb can go over the top. That's a very ergonomic fit for my hand if I'm going to repetitively engage and use versus just hanging on to a part of the handle, right, that would just be flat all the way through. The slightest little changes like that can be so much more comfortable with every single given rep. Okay, if I were to just grab on lower here where there's no curvature, how comfortable and form-fitting would that be for my hand versus the section they've designed higher that's thicker, right? That has variations in the density on the inside where it is a little thicker in the base, but a little more narrow where my finger and my thumb will wrap. These slight little changes occur with 2,500, 2,700 steps per mile that I'm taking. That's 14 or 1,500 opportunities with each arm in every step that I take. So let's say it's 2% or 5% better with every step. That's 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%, right? All those little things really add up over the long haul. So we start to look at this and go, hey, if we're going to be putting in thousands of reps in this weight room every week, hundreds or up to 1,000 in every workout, why would I not supplement in a handle that's more comfortable versus one that will just get the job done? And again, I'm not throwing shade. This is better than hanging on to just a band that molds in your hand or a strap that molds to your hand. And so there's levels to this game, if you will, okay? Things to think about. I want to make sure I cover all my toys that I brought out here for this. Grip strength training components need to have a level of emphasis placed on them that encourages a bit of dedicated practice on a regular basis. What I mean is putting some of these rubber bands in your car, and every time you stop at a stoplight, throw them on and do 30 while you're waiting, for your next turn to go. Don't do it while you're driving. Okay, while you're sitting at home watching TV, put them on. Get a little grip ball, right, and work with the manipulation of the grip ball. When you go on your walks and you're using your hiking sticks, find the ergonomic handles. Like all these little things matter as we go through. Try gripping the wood handle of a hammer versus the, like the poly, whatever, the really nice, the metal ones with the, you get from like Lowe's. It has the cool cobalt and the handle and the fold and the mold. Which, contractor is going to want to use which handle for years at a time with all of those reps and those attempts? It's these little things that matter when you have nagging injuries, right, that lead to surgeries down the line if you don't take these proper steps. This is just for a quality of life, let alone actual performance. And now back to the point of this article is to having it as a indicator and even a predictor for how good you're going to be as you continue to age and maybe what is to come if we're not a little bit more vigilant on what we just saw as a result. Less than 32 kilos for men and 27 kilos, I think, for women, right? Like, these are concerning numbers that if you can't squeeze that, we're headed in the wrong direction quick, okay? And it's gonna take more than just sitting down watching Dr. Phil and squeezing these to get you better overall. Fall risk, quality of life, cognition, everything else, cardiovascular, all the other things we addressed. It's utilizing this while you're lifting and conditioning and scourging and tanking and carrying and doing everything else that we do. It's manipulating this, but also a little frame of every day or every couple of days, addressing some concerns with, let's do some rubber bands. Let's do some Captain to Crush. Let's test our scores, right? Trainers, go out there and spend $32 and buy your dynometer and go through and test all of your people. Here, all right, you'll see this right here. Top page, here it is. Okay, there's our test for all of our clients, and every time we retest them, I write in the next, And we have, this was just since we moved up here. I think I've tested 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 times for most of our people as we've gone through here, okay? So, I mean, you start tracking this as you go. You can show after 6 months to a year, you're gonna be able to show some pretty significant changes, not just here in grip strength, but what does that really mean, okay? And that's where this kind of continues and goes through. Even just doing finger and palm stretches a few times a day, yeah, working your range of motion, that kind of stuff is all great. Great grip strength can be an indicator of overall mobility and function as you age, according to a recent study. Working on strength overall is helpful, as well as doing significant exercises to improve your grip. Talk to your healthcare provider and or your expert coach to add additional grip exercises into your routine. They can help you determine what is right for you. I completely agree. I really, really liked this article. I think that it's a piece of education. Again, of course, that's always the picture they put up, is using these little grippers. How awesome would it be if it was somebody doing rubber band extensors? Because everybody would be like, what is that? Okay? Everyone has seen this. Everyone has seen this. No one has seen this before. Okay? Like, how cool would it be where they're like, hey, grip strength is a huge concern. We got to get our mind around this, and here's how you're going to fix it. And you're like, well, what the hell is that? I've never seen that before, but everybody's seen those little handles. And they go, oh, we got to do our grip strength. Okay? Come on, we're better than that. And that's what I love about this article, is at least we're talking about it. This has not been an area of discussion ever. I mean, the last 4 or 5 years. When we're talking about the world of fitness and actually putting it in the limelight of general population, general public, let's say that the late 50s, early 60s, okay? Arnold is kind of becoming a bigger name, but really it's like Jack LaLanne, and the Jack LaLanne Show is kind of highlighting fitness on a regular basis in his awesome singlet onesie uniforms that he would wear, and then doing bent over flies with soup cans with his back all around. We've come a long way since then, but we're talking the 50s. That's about as early as we can go back to where we say, like, hey, maybe it's a good idea for everybody to exercise, not just those in the military, not just those playing sport, but all the way down to women and even kids. It's okay for you kids to exercise. And that's another thing, everybody, oh, you're gonna stunt your growth plates and all that. There is zero evidence to support that, people. If you're one of those folks, or you have one of those people in your life, and they're like, my kid can't lift when he's 9, 10, 11, or 12 because we're gonna stunt his growth, that is 100% inaccurate. That is false. That is one of those things that somebody said once. And what happened is some 9-year-old kid was being raised by his dad, who made that kid power lift. And as a power lifter, he was trying to max his 9-year-old out, and that kid snapped a vertebrae. That will happen at any age to anyone if you don't train appropriately, okay? So just because you're younger doesn't mean that you're going to stunt your growth if you lift weights. That's ridiculous, okay? You need to use the appropriate load and the proper exercises, and there's definitely more appropriate exercises for younger kids that are more coordination and balance and stability strength, plyometrics, those kinds of things that are more important than 1 rep max deadlifts, bench press, and back squat, okay? So don't let any of that stop your mindset. Just like our older adults, we can't look at it and be like, you shouldn't be deadlifting. Don't put your arms over your head. That's all horseshit. That's all things that general populations and like the regular consensus out there, they really think is true. And it's our job to come into this and educate and say, no, it's not. Who can you think of? Okay, and think of all the demographics in this world, from youth to frail elder, 100 plus years old, okay? Who can you think of across the board that needs something to quickly make their bones more dense, get their muscles stronger to help improve their quality of life? Is it babies? Not necessarily, but there could be an argument for that. Is it toddlers? Not necessarily, no. Is it young kids, young adults? Is it adults? Is it older adult or middle-aged adults? Is it older adults? Is it elders? Where across there do you look at it and you go like, that guy, those people, they need resistance training more than anyone else? Right around 50 is when you're gonna start to say, I think those people really need it. And then when we get into the gym, okay, the older adult comes in, the 50 and over comes in. Who is the trainer that gets the older person? It's the rookie trainer. The trainer doesn't know anything about training. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. I can't give you the athletes, the ones that have no physical limitations, the ones that can do backflips as you ask them to. They can do any athletic movement that you want. I'm going to train them because I've had all these years of experience and I know exactly what to do with everybody, but I'm going to take the easiest person on the floor to train because they can do anything I put at them. But the person who really needs the educated, experienced trainer to not put them in a position to get hurt, to not jack up their bodies, to not put them in a position to fail, knows jack shit about training, just got certified, and is now being told, go out there, go get them, make us a good living, and don't make bad decisions, kid. My polo barely fits, dude. I don't know what I'm doing, right? And now you're giving me the most fragile person on the floor? Do you see how backwards that is? Do you see how our industry's been doing a lot of shit backwards? That's what I'm talking about, okay? Let's stop looking at this and like, oh, well, here's all these regular little things that everybody says, yeah, fat to fit to fat, and The Biggest Loser, and Trainer, and all these shows look at these stereotypes and emphasize them and make them more because that's what we all understand. Okay, that's what us as a society look at and we're like, well, this is entertaining. Really fat people don't know that they're fat, so let's embarrass them and make them throw up and measure them and take photos of them and put them on television and make them feel bad. Do you not think that guy knew that? Do you not think that that dude knew he's 100 pounds overweight and then he's not in shape to do sprints on the beach and not throw up? Like, what a dick move that was, right? But we all watch it, okay? And we, I mean, as a society, I watch it to find something to get pissed off about because I want to be able to talk to you about it so we can change the narrative. Education is the key to success, okay? It is written in my drawer by Rod Martin, who played for the Raiders. This stays in my drawer for the rest of my life. To Bob, I went by Bob at the time, happy 14th birthday. Education is the key to success, to be the best. Rod Martin, Super Bowl champion, 2 different Super Bowls, including the MVP. That stays in my drawer because that message has stuck with me from day one, from that time I turned 14, of, hey, you can't play sport if you are not doing your grades. If you're not smart, you're not going to. Education is the key to whatever it is you want to go and do. And this situation is no different. This situation is no different. If we are ignorant to what we are trying to achieve, we are not going to achieve it, right? So we need to have research like this that showcases the right things to do, but it's more of this and less of this, right? We need to get beyond these stereotypes and teach people the proper things. But until everyone is talking about it and research is supporting it, we're going to keep going back to making people throw up on the beach because that's the sexy thing that sells. It's maddening. It's maddening from our industry. It's maddening as a pro to sit here and see those things going on TV representing me as a professional. I don't scream at my clients. I don't belittle them. I don't push them until they vomit, right? I visit them in the hospital. I help them rehab from hip surgeries. I go to their kids' bar mitzvahs or whatever. Like this is part of our circle. This is part of our life, these folks. I'm ranting. Anyhow, I think you get the point. Grip strength is good, people. I have been all over the place. And to be honest, this might be the best one I've ever done. You tell me. You tell me. I've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm 29 minutes in. I don't even know what I just covered, but it felt good. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe. Please share if one of your people in your circle or one of the folks that are assisting and helping push stereotypes, please share this video and say, maybe fast forward to minute 25 on. The last half maybe got my point across, but I hope you liked it. I love and appreciate you all. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.